Hello and welcome to ESCtalk, where for 30 minutes, Eurovision is the main focus. Now before we jump straight into today's topic, there's something that I need to mention from the previous episode that some of you may have noticed, but most of you probably didn't listen that closely to, if at all. So, let's put a bit of background to this first of all. A few weeks ago, I had to bump back the episode due to being on holiday on the Isle of Wight Saturday to Saturday, which was very nice, thank you for asking. Now, me being a true unprofessional, decided it would be a really good idea to plan to do stuff the Sunday and Monday I got back, instead of buckling down and planning the show. Guess what? It gets even better, as I realise I have 3 8-hour shifts at work, Monday, Tuesday and Friday, 11 till 7. Now, you may therefore be led to think that I have Thursday free. However, that's where you're wrong, as my brother's birthday happened to fall on this date, and I was obviously celebrating with my family. Now, I realised I couldn't just not do a show that week after pushing it back, so as soon as I got in from work, I would shovel down my dinner as fast as I could, and work until 1, 2 in the morning each night to get this done. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not like it's a chore or anything, because I love doing this. But as you can imagine, after an 8-hour shift and at 12 at night, perhaps my show became a little sloppier than it should have been, causing me to miss a small section in my editing, as I brought up a bit of wind after stumbling over some words. I'll leave you to go back and find that moment, but in future hopefully that will teach me to be a bit more careful and to listen back to what I edit. Now, enough of my babble. Let's get into today's topic, which is reviving those gems that sadly did not make it to the Eurovision stage. Firstly, I will start by saying that I'll only be including songs from the past 3 editions of Eurovision, which are 2016, 17 and 18, as I did not begin watching the national finals up until that point. Also, due to time constraint, I'll be naming what I personally think are the 2 best national final songs to not make it each year. However, if you do think that I've missed out a song, please let me know in the comments, and I'll probably do a part 2.
I never ever quite expected to be with you and to need to stay. Hypnotized, hallucinating, I was lost trying to find my way in the untouched sands, under all the stars. We were holding hands, then we went too far. Don't ask why I get high. Poison running through my veins. I think I've gone insane. Trapped by your love, I pull you shut. Here we are in a new dimension, in a trance that was settling in. Speaking tongues we never imagined, flowing like adrenaline. Hear the rise of cries in the endless sea. We were locking eyes, sinking too deep. Don't ask why I get high. Poison running through my veins. I think I've gone insane. Trapped by your love, I pull you shut. Du enchantazel, Saara hat's geschwellt. Yes, du enchantazel, Saara hat's geschwellt. Yes, du enchantazel, Saara hat's geschwellt. Yes, du enchantazel, Saara hat's geschwellt. Don't ask why I get high. Poison running through my veins. I think I've gone insane.
Of course, I've got to include my girl, Tamar Kaparlian, who represented Armenia in 2015 as part of supergroup Genealogy, placing 16th in the grand final. Originally from Arizona in the US of A, she became an Armenian citizen in 2015 before Eurovision, and has since launched the Navak Foundation, which helps young musicians showcase their talent in lesser musically developed countries. In 2018, Tamar competed in Armenia's selection process, which was Depi Evretetsil, with the song written with help from students from the Navak Foundation. After the announcement of her participation, her song Poison Yrjölä racked up thousands of views on the Depi Evretetsil YouTube account, and to this day maintaining the third highest view count of all the song's official audio releases. So how did she not qualify? There's no real explanation as to why she didn't qualify, other than the jury and the public simply preferred other songs over hers. As in all honesty, Poison is one of my favourite songs of all time, and I just can't understand why it didn't at least qualify. Come on, Armenia. An argument could be that the sound mixing was beyond awful, making the song almost unrecognisable. But this was the same for every song, meaning that it shouldn't have had an impact on the overall vote. It has also been suggested that the phone line for Tamar wasn't working, as tweeted by many frustrated fans who claimed they were unable to get through and vote for their favourite. Whatever the reason, I believe it was wrong, and this phenomenal song really should have made it to the final.
Now, we're going back in time a little bit for this one. Well, only 2 years,
but back when Saara Aalto was a scarcely known name across Europe. Nowadays, she is a household name after placing second on the X Factor UK in 2016, signing to Warner Music and competing in the 2018 edition of Eurovision. Despite this, Saara also had a go at Eurovision in both 2015 and 16. Her 2016 hit No Fear having much more success. It proved popular with the voting public at home, topping the televote. However, it was competitor Sandhya who got the win, meaning Saara had to settle for second place. Now, it's undeniably true that Saara is the better singer of the two. But at the end of the day, I do personally think that on the night, Sandhya was just a safer option for the juries to pick, as at times Saara can come across to be a bit too theatrical, as we saw this year. You're listening to ESCtalk, where for 30 minutes, Eurovision is the main focus. Today, we're reviving some of the gems that were sadly lost in the national finals. Now, I think it's time for a bit more music, so here is Contigo by Mirela.
Sueños al aire, los miedos al mar, lo volvemos a intentar. Las penas al fuego, la playa en San Juan, lo bueno está por llegar. Jamás di por perdido mi amor, amor contigo. Jamás di por perdido mi corazón. Contigo quiero abrazar la vida, descubrir contigo. Quiero subirme al mundo, sonreír contigo. Hay una fiesta en mi cabeza, bailar la la, bailar la 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 contigo. Hay una fiesta en mi cabeza, bailar la la, bailar la 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 contigo. Hay una fiesta en mi cabeza, bailar la la, bailar la la la. Las manos al cielo, los pies para errar, no importará dónde irán. Si ladran de lejos, es una señal, tú y yo cabalgamos más. Jamás di por perdido mi amor, amor contigo. Jamás di por perdido mi corazón. Contigo quiero abrazar la vida, descubrir contigo. Quiero subirme al mundo, sonreír contigo. Hay una fiesta en mi cabeza, bailar la la, bailar la 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 contigo. Hay una fiesta en mi cabeza, bailar la la, bailar la la la. Bailar la la la, bailar la la la. Contigo, contigo, que viva el amor. Contigo quiero abrazar la vida, descubrir contigo. Quiero subirme al mundo, sonreír contigo. Hay una fiesta en mi cabeza, bailar la la, bailar la 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 contigo. Quiero abrazar la vida, descubrir contigo. Quiero subirme al mundo, sonreír contigo. Hay una fiesta en mi cabeza, bailar la la, bailar la 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 contigo. Hay una fiesta en mi cabeza, bailar la la, bailar la la la. Los sueños al aire.
Now, I don't know how many of you listening watched the Spanish final back in 2017, but let me tell you, it was certainly an experience. Essentially, when it came down to the voting, the public made it pretty clear that their favourite was Mirela, who received a staggering 35.6% of the vote, with eventual winner Manuel Navarro receiving 16.8%. 2 of the 3 jurors, however, gave Mirela the lowest score out of the 6 participants, which on its own seems to be a bit suspicious, as you'd think that the jurors would be able to recognise a good song when they see one. All of this led to a tie between Manuel and Mirela, who both sat on 58 points, and this is when it starts to get really suspicious. In 2014, the tie-break rule was that whoever got the highest amount in the televote would win, a rule which many expected to be carried over to the future editions. Instead of this, the jury vote was used, resulting in a lot of unhappy fans booing in the live audience. I guess Spain learnt their lesson that year, as karma came around and dumped them in last place. However, that could have also been because of this.
Just do it, just do it, just do it for your lover. Just do it, just do it, just do it for your lover. Just do it, just do it, just do it for your lover. Do it for your lover, do it for your lover, babe.
You're listening to ESCtalk, and today we're reviving some of the gems that were sadly lost in the national finals. Going back to 2018, and to one of my personal favourite national finals, ESCtalk, I do believe that there are a number of gems in this final that were sadly lost. However, I'm only going to include what I think is the most wronged song, which is Tempel by Indrik Wendman, who somehow didn't even make it to the final. This isn't the first time that Indrik has tried to qualify either, so you'd think he might get a bit of sympathy? As well as this, I think this is one of the best staged national final songs I've ever seen, and it would have worked great in a year with no LED screens. Anyway, it was evident that the Estonians were not looking to be represented by a song in Estonian, as not a single one of the 6 songs in Estonian qualified, which to me is pretty sad, as Eurovision is about showing your culture and your music to Europe, and as French or Italians would tell you, there's no better way to do this than sing in your own language.
Ma ei küsi, kuidas võtta. Mulle meeldib anda. Ma ei küsi, kuhu tõttad, sest et ma tean, et elu on kiire. Ma ümber päike teeb piire. Ma kutsun sind kaasa. Vaata, vaata. Siin on minu tempel, allikad ja palmipuud. Siin on minu rahu, siin on minu rahu. Siin on minu tempel, mandala maalingud. Siin on minu rahu, siin on minu rahu. Me elame talves, me oleme helbed. Tuule käes nii kanged, samas nii helged. Vaata, siin on minu tempel, allikad ja palmipuud. Siin on minu rahu, siin on minu rahu. Siin on minu tempel, mandala maalingud. Siin on minu rahu, siin on minu rahu. Siin on minu tempel, allikad ja palmipuud. Siin on minu rahu, siin on minu rahu. Siin on minu tempel, mandala maalingud. Siin on minu rahu, siin on minu rahu. Siin on minu rahu, siin on minu rahu. Siin on minu tempel, mandala maalingud. Siin on minu rahu, siin on minu rahu. Siin on minu tempel, allikad ja palmipuud. Siin on minu rahu, siin on minu rahu. Siin on minu tempel, mandala maalingud. Siin on minu rahu.
Next up, we're going to my home country, the United Kingdom, and to the first national final held in the country since 2010. The 6-act final saw pair Joe and Jake take the win. This might actually be quite a controversial pick, but I really enjoyed Dulcima's When You Go. As a show opener, it did a great job of getting the crowd pumped, especially in the drum and vocals section, but most of all, it was something different. With all respect to Joe and Jake, their song could have been sung by any emerging artist, whereas with Eurovision, you need something unique to be successful. As well as this, with the Netherlands' recent success utilising the country genre, why couldn't the UK jump on the bandwagon with some Mumford & Sons inspired fun? Perhaps the live vocals needed a bit of improvement, but overall, all I can see is a band having fun on stage and giving a good show.
Even though you're hiding from yourself. Even though you're smiling for someone else. It was only you and me at the start. I held your hand, you held my heart. So when you
For our final gem lost in the national finals, this may again be a controversial pick, but I know I'm not the only one who feels that this song was truly robbed in 2017. This song somehow came 8th out of 10 in its national final, beaten only by a song about a caveman and a song performed by, well, just watch it for yourself. It's called My Little World by a group called Van Persie. Be careful though, as YouTube likes to autocorrect Van Persie to Van Persie, and then you'll end up with a number of videos featuring the footballer and not the group. In its studio version, I think the song is truly excellent, almost a Melodifestivalen song, which the Swedes seem to agree with, giving them 12 points in the international jury vote. But live, the song did sound a bit forced, and the awkward swaying dance throughout just didn't work. Despite this, the song deserved to be higher up on the scoreboard in what was a very strong national final. And had it been in the national final of, say, Slovenia or Moldova, it would have won easily. Now, although none of these songs did reach Eurovision, as cheesy as it sounds, they have all found a place in my heart, and I know I will not be forgetting them for a long time. Thank you very much for listening, and if you enjoyed it, please take a look at my previous shows and follow @EurovisionTalk on Twitter for updates about the next show. Now, over to Lauri with Helppo, Elämä.
Ei hän kukaan muutu, ei hän kukaan tuhlaa aikaa, jos ei mitään puutu, mut sun auraa nyt jokin vaivaa. Haluat sielun rauhaa kai, ja jos sen ilmaiseksi sais, haluat helpon elämän, valheiden sävyttämän. Haluat helpon elämän, rakkaus ja rauha kaiken kattaa, vastuuntunnottomuuden korvaa. Rakkaus ja rauha sua nyt ohjaa, kun vääjäämättä hiivut kohti pohjaa. Kun ei mikään riitä, ja kun et halua mistään päästää, löydät aina jonkun, joka sua oikeesti ymmärtää. Haluat sielun rauhaa kai, ja jos sen ilmaiseksi sais, haluat helpon elämän, valheiden sävyttämän. Rakkaus ja rauha kaiken kattaa, vastuuntunnottomuuden korvaa. Rakkaus ja rauha sua nyt ohjaa, kun vääjäämättä hiivut kohti pohjaa. Kurinalaisuutta virastat, tavoittelet vain hetken huumaa. Kaikille toivotat vain rauhaa. Rakkaus ja rauha kaiken kattaa, vastuuntunnottomuuden